All right, in this video, we're going to start diving into the menus and the actions. We looked a little bit at those in the debug Odoo framework section where we were looking at how we could add menus and hook up items. And in that instance, we used low calorie as an example for a menu item. And then we created an action that would limit the filter to only having those items that were low calorie. In this instance, we're going to use somewhat of the same idea, but this time we're going to use the diet item to restrict our menus items, so it'll only show diet items for when you pick that particular menu item. So we're going to learn about menus, we're going to learn about actions, and one of the reasons we went through the debug mode is to help make it kind of easy to see them. So you got to see the models, you got to see the actions and the menus from inside of the Odoo framework, but you didn't see them in code. And so now we're going to use the Eclipse to find our menu items that we want to look at. And so one of the best ways, obviously, to see what you want to do in Odoo is find out where it's already being done in Odoo and then copy their way of doing it. So here we're going to look for menu item XML, and we're going to do a search, and it'll quite rapidly, well, it didn't get it that time. Let me see what I did wrong. Search, menu item. Oh, I need to do it under file search, XML, file search, menu item. That looks right. Search. Okay, there we go. I was just on the wrong tab. So we searched all the files, and notice we came up with 643 instances of where we found menu item. But we don't need to look at them all. Let's just go down and look at where it found them inside of product, because that's what we're working with. We're working with product menus and where it shows them. And you'll notice there's a price list view and a product view. So we want to look at our product view. And if I open this up, we'll see that there's, and that accidentally ran over to console because something just pulled in Odoo. But you'll notice that there's a sales menu right here that we can click on. And this is the code for making menus. Now, we saw how to do that through an interface before. What I'm showing you is how you can use Odoo source code, go and find what you need, and that's a lot easier than starting from scratch, because we know we want our base dot menu sales to be our parent menu, because that's what it is for products. And we can see what that parent menu is by when we see here going up to ID. So this ID of this menu is the parent of this one. So that's how we know this whole menu right here is the child of this menu up here, because of this parent being base.menu sales matching the ID hit here. So if it takes a little bit for that to sink in, just, rewind it, think about it a little bit. The parent of this menu is this menu. So this is the top level menu. Now, we don't know what the name of this menu is because it's inside the action. So let's copy this right here and paste it into our search. So if I hit Control F, I can find on this page inside of this document, just product view, hit find again, and now I found the action that goes with that menu. So when we were in this form right here, looking at this action, remember how we were looking at this? We had the Kanban, the tree, and all this stuff here, and click to define new product. We can look at this action in here, but the real code, what actually creates it, we've just found it, is right here. So there's the products for the name, there's our Kanban and our tree, and then here's all that text down here. Click to define a new product. It's getting this down here. It's getting this from the code in here. So when Odoo fires up, it's scanning through all these records. This product view XML is no different than the one we made, diet facts view XML. It's finding these records and it's creating those views that we can, in actions, to tie everything together. So this is the action. As you can see, it's got Kanban tree form. Now we're going to change that back because we like the tree view better, and we want it to be a tree view here as well. But we're going to use this code, and we're going to use the menu code we found up above it. We can scroll back up and find it up here somewhere. Or we'll just search for it again. But we know we found it. Let's find it again. Menu item. There it is. And so this is our menu that we want to make one a little bit different, but we want to make sure that it's, we don't have to type the syntax out. We don't have to remember it. We're going to copy and paste it. So let's open up our diet facts view. If you've lost where it's at, it's, under custom add-ons. There's our diet facts. There's our diet facts view, and pull it up like that. And let's just go to the bottom, and let's now take the code that we have here, and we want our menu. So get our menu item here first. Copy and paste that in. And so you can see that I've added diet facts onto here so that it's for our particular model. So we've, customized the action. We're not taking their exact action. We're creating a new action for our diet facts. And we also still want the same parent, but we want the sequence one higher because we want it to be up, above it. So now let's get our record for our action in here, and we'll paste that in. And we'll look at what's a little different here. So our record ID, we got to fix these, by the way. That didn't paste too well. There we go. We still got more to do down here. It won't take long, because this has to be clean. Sometimes copying and pasting from certain things to others, it'll give a little bit of grief. But you'll notice that by having the copy and paste, at least we didn't have to type all this out from scratch. And you'll see that we've changed the name to diet items, and that our record ID here matches our action here. So with this action ties to this record here. So that's how it knows. Here's where it shows the menu. It gets the name for the menu here, and it knows that we're working with product template. It knows we want the tree first and then the Kanban. And there's our reference now to the tree view. And everything else we're going to keep the same for now. Let's save this and make sure that everything functions like it's supposed to. So we restart and make sure we get no errors here, because that was two big views we added. We added a menu and we added an action. And with a little bit of luck, when we go back here to our sales, notice we don't see anything yet, and I can click on sales and I probably still won't see it. We'll see if we do. So it doesn't refresh our menu. We have to hit shift, hold down the shift key and hit shift refresh, because Odoo is caching some of these things in the browser. It doesn't expect the menu to change that option often. Now notice there's our menu, diet items. If we click products, we get a Kanban view. We hit diet items, we get a tree view. And that's because we set up our own action for it with a tree view instead of the Kanban view. So that's getting back to what we did this earlier, remember, through the debug mode. And that's why we did it, is so you could understand how the menus tie in, understand how the actions tie in, and the views and the models. And so this is a good point to wrap this video up, this lecture up, because we really have covered the core basics in some way, in that here we have, with just this 3 little lines here, created a menu item, a new menu inside of Odoo. Remember, we created it in the interface earlier on in the debug. Now we're actually doing it inside our own application. Now that was harder for us, but we made it easier by searching through the code and getting the syntax. We know we have to have menu item. We need to have an action to go to when we select that menu. And then we just need to have an ID. Just has to be unique. Then we have to have a parent to tie that menu to. Well, we got the parent easy enough by just following inside of their code and seeing what the parent was for their menu. And then we just decided to sequence it underneath. So that set up our menu, and we did the action the same way. We searched and found their action inside of their product view, right inside of here. We went and found it. Don't need to go find it again because we copied it, pasted it, and then just changed it enough. We added our underscore diet facts to the end here so it would match our new menu. We changed the name so it says diet items. We didn't have to change product template because that's why we went to get that menu item, because we already knew it went to product template. And we basically took our tree view and our tree in front here instead of Kanban. We made those changes just like we did basically through the debug interface when we were exploring the Odoo framework from that vantage point. So we really have tied a lot together here. We've got the understanding of how to add menus, how to tie actions to those menus, have those actions then pick specific forms and views, and then we've learned how to change those views right here before our eyes. We're changing these views for these templates so that they show what we want, and we can show new fields that we've added to our models. So in the next lecture, we're going to get into how can we filter these diet items based on that Boolean field, and then a little bit further, how to do related fields and functional fields so we can do some calculations, as well as adding our own model. So there's still plenty more to come.